What's going on, everyone? Sam here from SG Angling. Have you subscribed to the channel yet? If not, it's super simple. You just make sure you are logged into YouTube, you scroll down, you hit that little subscribe button, and you hit the little bell icon next to it to get notified every single time I post a new video. Well, first of all, I wanted to wish you all a very happy new year and wanted to thank each and every one of you also for supporting the channel and for everything that you've done to make this year a success. My year's been off to a little bit of a rough start. I should be filming for season 3 right now, but unfortunately myself and family have come down with the COVID, and we very much were symptomatic. But you know, while being knocked out pretty hard this whole week, we're starting to do better. Just have a lingering sore throat, and I can no longer smell or taste anything. So I think the days of smelling muskies are likely over, at least for a long time. This episode that you're about to watch takes us back to Election Day in November. Now, when I filmed this episode, I hadn't even voted yet because, you know, priorities. In case you are worried, I did make it back to the polls about an hour before they closed, and I was able to vote and catch muskies on the same day. It was a good day. On this particular day, I was faced with suspending bait fish in open water. The water temperature was in the upper 50s, and I had to leverage both trolling and casting in order to put muskies in the net. Now, when I launched my boat around 8 a.m., I immediately fired up the motor and dropped down 2 trolling lines, one of which was using this 8.5-inch Storm flat stick in a Fire Tiger pattern. I was about 3 or 4 minutes or so into trolling when my rod went off. The problem was none of my cameras were recording at the time, so I quickly turned on my cameras, and this episode begins with me actually reeling in that fish. Ironically, this fish was one of the radio tagged fish from the warm water delayed mortality study that has been going on this year. So make sure you stay tuned in to the end of this video, where I will meet you back here and I'm going to tell you a little bit of data about that fish and whether or not it lived after me releasing it.
I got a fish trolling here. And it's tangled up in my other line. And oh, unbelievable. It's probably, not a huge one, but oh my goodness. Right where we started off last time with the trolling here in the no wake zones.
Okay, so this is a fish I just caught 5 minutes into fishing. 37 1/4. It's a little stressed out. You can see that in his fins. So we got to get him back. There's a fish from the delayed mortality study. 37 1/4 inches.
There we go. Let's let him go.
I haven't even done my intro yet. I'm in the same spot where we left off last episode. Remember, I was fishing just as the sun was setting. Actually, the sun had already set. And I took a turn with 5 seconds remaining in the day, and I caught one. Right now, I'm in the same area, just a little bit down stream a little bit from in the lake. And my rod goes off. And I'm going to show you what lure I was using. This is a giant Storm flat stick here. I was seeing bait on my depth finder, and so I ran it right through the bait. Was doing some S-turns and whatnot, and got them hooked on. So it's a great way to start the day. 37 1/4 incher. So let's see if we can go get one casting now.
All right, well, I'm not a huge fan of trolling. I don't really like to do it, but if it catches fish, I'll troll for maybe an hour out of my 9-hour day. So let me show you what I'm doing here. As I said before, I'm using a 8-inch Storm flat stick, giant flat stick in a Fire Tiger pattern. This has a very loud, low frequency rattle to it. I'm going to be basically putting out about 30 feet of line. But I'm using a 3-foot long trolling leader, as you can sort of see here. So on my line clicker, it needs to say 27 feet. And that'll be 30 feet of line from the tip of my rod. I'm going to put it back there. I'm going to troll about 4 to 4.5 miles an hour. And again, going in an S pattern. That'll trigger strikes. That's something that the caster has an advantage of over the troller, is that he can do a nice boat side maneuver and get the bait looking like it's going to move away from the fish, get away from the fish. But with trolling, you can obviously, you know, get the gas going a little bit, get the bait diving down, and then let it rise up. You can do S turns to try to initiate strikes. So we're going to do that, and then on my other rod, I'm just going to be jerk trolling by hand, throw out about 40 feet of line, and then get that bait down about 4 feet. This Storm flat stick will get down about 7 feet or so, going about 4 to 4.5 miles an hour. So we're going to go back to where we caught that fish and see if we can come at a school of bait fish from a different angle. All right, quick update here for you. The one end of the lake was a little bit cooler than this end of the lake over here. So I'm heading towards warmer, clear water. The sun's nice and high in the sky now, so we can see a little bit better. I'm going to troll my way over to a new section of the lake, and we'll meet you over there. I think. Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one. Not a bad one. Not a bad. I thought it was bigger than it was. This one's gonna. Oh, there we go. Oh, I thought that was a big one. Not at all. Not at all. Little guy. There he is. I don't know, 30-incher? 31? Who knows? Got this one trolling with a trophy time leader. He's tensing up. Ah. Well, it's fall. The water temperatures are in the mid to upper 50s, maybe just prior to turnover. And I caught this one with a Trophy Time by Steve Gold, and he makes one in all different kinds of patterns. Really great bait. Runs pretty deep, you know. It's also in the probably 7 to 8 foot range, depending on how fast you go. But yeah, I thought it was a big one. It's fighting pretty hard, but it wasn't a big one. Anyway, so yeah, let's go get another one. Oh, and by the way, first fish caught on a new 2020 Musky Mojo rod. 8'6" medium heavy, absolutely fantastic rod. I would highly recommend it. Very light, very stable. The flex is really more at the tip, so there's a higher load on it. Phenomenal rod. Fish. Hey, at least I didn't call a false alarm that time. Strike that was! Wow, unbelievable! Oh, I almost tripped over and killed myself here. Oh yeah! Wow, is that an unbelievable strike? He hammered it both sides! Woo! And he's off! Not a huge fish. Maybe 37 or 38 if we're lucky, but he hammered it. Nice fish. Yeah, maybe on the 38 side. Really thick fish though. Man, hard fighter. Whew, beautiful. I went under the boat there, but she's off. Alright, well, what a strike that was. Excuse my high level of passion for that catch. That was just, man, you want to talk about getting jacked up for a strike. Just straight retrieving. This is just a regular bulldog. They're pretty small. I mean, if you stretch it out from head to tail, it's maybe 13, 14 inches, but it's fairly light bait and pretty small profile. And fairly new color here from Team Rhino Outdoors. I really like it. It's kind of, you know, got a little perch color to it there with the orange, and it's got some holographic tape right in the middle of it. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty cool. So the sun hits it and really makes it gives it a big feel in the water, and then most of it's white, and I always love white. So, oh man, she creamed it. What an aggressive fish.
In the casts leading up to that catch, I was casting from open water towards the point and was working the bulldog with a pull pause retrieve. When I snagged a tree branch, it forced me to move my boat into shallow water in order to free my lure. This presented me with an opportunity to take a few casts using the inside-out technique, which you can leverage as a last-ditch effort to catch stubborn fish. The inside-out technique involves positioning your boat against the bank, working your bait from deeper water to shallower water. This 180-degree change of angle often initiates strikes. Notice when I used this technique, I also changed my retrieve. Instead of the pull pause technique, I straight retrieve the bulldog, and as you can see here, this muskie comes unglued. leading to yet another fish in the net.
All right, we are back, and as promised, I told you I would talk a little bit about the data from that first fish we caught. As mentioned before, it was one of the fish from the warm water delayed mortality study that was going on this year in the South, where the goal was to study the behavior of these fish before and after being caught to see if and when they died after being caught during the warm water period. So 80 degrees and up, really studying these fish and their patterns and their movements. Of course, a lot lived, a couple died, but we're still waiting to see the results from the study. The fish was a male, tag number 006, and was stocked in 2013 at right around 10.5 inches. Now in March of 2020, it was tagged by the biologist for the warm water study and was measured, and this was in March, at 37 inches. So in about 7 years or so, the fish grew about 27 inches or so. Now since March, when it was captured, it has been caught by anglers 3 other times. It was caught by Gibson's Guide Service in May. And when I found out that he caught it, I actually reached out to Chase, and he said, oh yeah, I have the picture of the fish right here. And so here's the picture of it. So I thought that was pretty cool. Then fast forward to November, where I caught it, as you saw in this video. And the fish measured 37.25 inches. So as you can see, that makes sense. It grew about 1/4 inch or so in the last 6, 7, 8 months. And then it was caught again in December. Now, I will mention that when it was caught by Gibson's Guide Service in May, by me in November, and by Gibson's Guide Service again in December, that the proper tools and handling techniques were used across all of the anglers that caught it. And that made it possible for that fish to go on and live. And I did contact the biologist after I released the fish, waited several days, and he did confirm that the fish was still swimming around, and it's still swimming around to this day, even after being caught by anglers 3 times and being caught a total of 4 times this year. So the point is catch and release is the name of the game, and using proper tools and handling techniques is the best way that we as anglers can help maintain and improve these musky fisheries. So make sure that you invest in the proper nets and bump boards and pliers and all the tools and all that good jazz so that you are responsibly handling these fish. You can also watch my video on how to properly handle and release a muskie, which is on my channel here, and make sure that if you are targeting muskies that you are using all of the proper tools and techniques. Thank you again for tuning into this episode. Join me in a few weeks for the season finale of Season 2 of SG Angling. It's going to be another good one. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Follow me on Instagram, all that good jazz. And I wanted to thank you, of course, again for tuning in. And as always, we'll see you next time.
Josiah, I have created some additional storage in my boat. Specifically for you, because you always bring 10,000 tackle boxes and 10,001 rods in my boat. So now I have made the boat more space efficient. We've changed lakes because we found out in the first hour or so of fishing the other lake that turnover had indeed happened within the last week or 2.
Oh, got a muskie!
Oh yeah. You got it working?
Got one. Nice.
Decent fish here.
Nice fish.
Oh, God.
Nice fish.